one of the worst spots in the field. Hey everybody, Brian here with another cornfield tracker episode. So maybe this will be the last one before we harvest. You can see this field is drying down a little bit. It's still a little green because remember we put fungicide on this one, so it probably stayed alive a little longer. And it was the second to the last field we planted too. And it's waxy corn. It dries down a little slower too. So we kind of got three things keeping it green. But I'm pretty excited here. We're into the third week of September and this stuff is still got some green. So hopefully it's filling some kernels out. We got some good rain, but I got some stuff we can look at. We can screen capture my iPad and take a look at, and then we're gonna walk out into the field to what might be kind of on purpose, kind of by mistake, one of the worst spots in the field. We'll see what that looks like. All right, so home south field. Let's go look at my anhydrous application. So you can see we ran variable rate application in this field. So green is where there's the most, yellow there's a little less, orange there's a little less. But I went out here kind of in the back of the field, so it's going to take me a bit of a walk for this video. I ran passes at flat rates from 50 pounds in increments up to 250 pounds here, and we will see what the yield is. But I screwed up. If you remember, let's split screen here. The neighbors a while back here, this is already up here, they sprayed corn fungicide for us. I asked them to leave a couple check strips. I forgot I had this nitrogen test going back on here. So if you look at the crosshairs matching up on each map, where they skipped a pass is also my two lowest nitrogen rates. So kind of screwed up my test there, but hey, who knows, we'll run the numbers. Maybe those end up being profitable passes because they had the least amounts of inputs on them. Who knows what'll happen there. And you can see up here, they left me another check strip right there, and this field across the road has two check strips in it, so we're still good. We got some replications of that. But let's walk out here to where this nitrogen trial is, and we'll see if there's any obvious differences out there. So as we're walking out towards my test plot out here at the back, I have not actually walked out to this part of the field this year. When I was side dressing was probably the last time I was back there. So, man, this stuff is still really green. Let's drop down here in the canopy. Yeah, for September 20th, for us, this is still quite green out here. Wow, I'm impressed. So hopefully that is going to be a good deal on the yield. So we'll keep walking. You don't have to watch all that. I'll walk out there and use the iPad to locate myself, and I'll see you on the other side. So I've made it out to the edge now. You can see we're by that 250 pounds an acre of nitrogen pass. So let's take a look at that real quick on our way to the low spot. Okay, so we're gonna go out from the end row a ways to find some ears here, count some plants. And kind of as expected, it's definitely got more nitrogen than it needs, and the fungicide application. This stuff is still really green. Maybe not so much right here, but the bottoms of the plants aren't as fired up as other parts of the field I've seen. So yeah, we didn't allow this part to lack for nitrogen. See, and these ears are still dark green above the ear. Just a few signs of disease, which is pretty normal in any year. But yeah, these are some healthy plants. So let's count some of them and see what happens here. I've got this handy orange string on a J-hook that I keep in my truck. So what this measures, I've got a whole nother video on this I will link to. So the basics of it is I hook this onto a corn plant, stretch the string out. That is equivalent to 1/1000th of an acre. So I planted 32,000 plants an acre out here. So I stretch this out over 1,000th. I count 30 plants. There's 30,000 plants an acre that are still standing here at the end of the season. So let's do that real quick. Let's take a random spot, stretch this out. Okay, and we're actually going to count good ears, not just plants. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, hey, 30. So I come up with 30. So now we need to pull a few ears, count them. I'm actually going to use an app on my phone that actually does the ear counting for you. I've noticed it runs a little high, but the division it uses kind of for kernel size, kernel weight, whatever, defaults to a little high. So maybe that kind of cancels that out. So let's do that real quick. See what kind of yield we get in the 250 pounds plus fungicide pass. So you're supposed to do just like 5 random ears. Don't pick the huge ones. Don't pick the tiny ones. There's 1, 2. Oh, there. Definitely still got some moisture in them. 3. 3 is a monster. 4. And let's go 5 right here, which I'm trying to be quick for the purposes of the video. 1 ear. So you do several of these. I don't know if the funky spotted light out here messes it up. Capture next ear. That's 4. Let's do 5. Run estimate. We're going to change it up a little. It says stand count 32,000, but we counted 30, right? So we're going to put in 30,000. And yeah, it uses a factor of 90,000 kernels per bushel, which is a little higher than I normally do. So that's actually a little disappointing. It's estimating 190 bushel an acre on this kind of high maintenance pass here, which I think that's probably going to be low, but hey, that's fine. I like to lowball myself, but let's let the app run itself to do this quickly, and we'll compare one side to the other. So 190 on this side. And let's also, let me make sure I get a representative ear for this area. It's a little bigger than the small ones. It's not as ginormous as these huge ones. So let's take this down to the like 50, 100 pounds of nitrogen and whoops, no fungicide pass. And yeah, this block where I tested, it's all the same hybrid and all the same population. So no worries on that part. And I've got another field where I've done some of these tests too, also in waxy corn. So we've got more replications than just this one, but hey, in a few weeks, Combine's really gonna tell the tale of what happened out here. Here's some of the ears we pulled back. Here's those big monster ears I was talking about. There's some more normal out here. But I think if we got good kernel depth, yeah, this is going to be over 200 bushel. It better be, as much inputs as we put into it. But there are ears like this out here too. You know, that's not too impressive. Man, these plants sure are green out here. And I don't expect the high nitrogen areas to be higher yielding necessarily. I just keep doing these tests, but as we've done them over the years, I'm pretty much averaging 150 pounds of nitrogen side dress, and we have about 20, you know, through dry fertilizer and maybe in our burn down chemical, we add some nitrogen in there. So, you know, we've kind of learned we are able to cut our nitrogen rates back, where the old rule of thumb was you need a pound of applied N for a bushel of corn. Well, I'd like to be at like 0.8 or lower. When we've had very, very good weather and adequate rain, I've been down as low as half a pound to the bushel. And there's guys I know out there doing stuff with cover crops, trying to feed the corn other ways that are doing it with no applied nitrogen. So there you have it. But we are still looking pretty green out here. We are going to get down to the no fungicide, not a lot of nitrogen area here in just a minute. So as I'm walking through the field, if I don't trip, here this corn is starting to turn, so I'll check my map here in just a minute. You can see we're getting quite a bit browner. and pale green over here. Okay, so here I am in the 50 pounds of nitrogen side dress. So we've dropped 200 pounds and our whoops mistake of no fungicide. So you can see we're fired up quite a lot more. We're more brown, yellow. These top leaves, instead of dark green, are a really pale green. They don't have that much disease either. When we put fungicide on, if you remember that video, there wasn't any disease out here anyway. June was very dry for us, which at the time we thought was probably going to hurt us, but it also led to no disease because we just didn't have conditions to allow the diseases to take hold. So let's do some counts again. Let's see what we got. These ears don't look too bad. Just let's rip one off here. I mean, 50 pounds of applied in, that's looking pretty good. Here's your 50 pounds of applied in, and here's from the 250. Those are about equal. This one is heavier, I can feel a little bit, and the kernels look a little bit fatter and deeper. Here, let me bust these in half here. So this is the 50 pound. This one is the 250. So yeah, we definitely have deeper kernels. I would say this is going to yield more, but for what we spent on that, that's looking pretty good. Once we run the combine through, I'll run all the numbers with, I'll put a price on the corn, and I have an exact price for the fertilizer, so, and the fungicide. So we'll see who really wins. Yield isn't the winner. Margin is the winner. And let's count good ears. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26,
7. That one is no good. I'm not going to count him. Cornhead will probably eat that up. Oh, the one I took off, 28, 29. So one less plant. We're going to call it 29,000. So let's pick 5 at random here for the pictures. That one's not super great. That's a pretty decent one there. There's maybe a medium. Let's get 2 more. That's a good looking one. So that one less, that 29 instead of 30 is probably going to cost us 6 bushel an acre there. All right, to the app. So we had 190 on the last pass. New yield estimate, create an estimate. Let's try to get good pictures of these ears. Make sure we're able to see all the kernels. There's 4 and number 5's the runt of the group here. Okay, we're gonna run the estimate, but first, it's at 32,000, but we only counted 29. We're gonna leave the 90,000 kernel count in there. See what we come up with. 178 bushel an acre. So a 12 bushel difference. I think they're both going to be higher than that, to be honest, especially if that kernel depth we saw when I split those in half. I think these are going to be better than that, but next video when we harvest, we're going to learn all that. So a 12 bushel difference. Maybe I can do some quick math here. Let's see. And this is waxy corn, so I'm getting a 50-cent premium on this. And we just sold some waxy corn on Friday. Today is Sunday. We sold it for $4.26. So that 12 bushels is $51.12. So let's call it $51. So just on, gross what we're going to sell it for, this is going to be worth $51 an acre less than the high maintenance with fungicide and another 200 pounds of applied nitrogen. But what did it cost me though? So the fungicide app, all told, I was $15.50. Let's subtract that, not divide it. So take the fungicide out, that healthy pass, now it's only $35 a head. Let's double check. So on yield, 12 bushels times $4.26, $51.12. So just on gross profit, the higher management pass was better by $51.12. But we had no fungicide in here. So take $15.50 out of that. That pays for the chemical and the neighbor's sprayer to run through. So now $35.62. So remember that, $35.62. So anhydrous ammonia cost me 32 cents per pound of applied nitrogen. Got that handy. Right here in my Harvest Profit account, ding ding, not sponsored, but I do like Harvest Profit. Let's see, so back to the calculator. So there's 200 pounds of extra in at 32 cents. So that cost $64. There's $64 more nitrogen on the other pass, and just by gross minus the fungicide, this was $35 worse. Well, now it's almost 30 bucks better. So low maintenance may be the winner this time. Let's come back in a month or so. Combine's gonna roll through here. We're gonna get actual yields on these passes. So there's 24 rows of each of this. The combine head is 12 rows, so we're actually gonna get 2 reps out of the combine. So we'll have 2 reps across all of those nitrogen rates on here. I think we're gonna learn something here. And if this is right, see, this is what I want to be right. I want the low management to be right. I want the low cost to be right, because I don't care if the yield's high. I don't care if it's 300 bushel, if 180 bushel makes me more money. So the one that makes more money is the winner in my book. Keep cutting inputs, keep raising your margins. That's what I'm interested in. And just a quick side note, can we talk about how cool earthworms are? All that trash down there, residue, is the last 2 years corn and soybeans. And you can see how it's all piled up. They have moved every bit of this on this 250 acre field. They're good little workers. So you pull those back, you'll see their holes. They'll leave their middens behind. Good for soil structure, good fertilizer. Cool stuff.